Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So in front of us is the latest generation for the Lexus RCF. This model is finished off in ultra white, and we'll go over the MSRP once we go over all the specs and features for this luxury style sports car. So let's start off with what powers the RCF. This has a 5-liter naturally aspirated V8. It's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and it pumps out 472 horsepower, 395 pound-feet of torque. That power sent to the rear wheels. This weighs in right around 3,900 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in just over 4 seconds with a top speed up to 168 miles an hour. And as far as the fuel economy goes, it gets around 16 miles per gallon in the city and 24 out on the highway. So let's work our way to the exterior styling, where this has a beautiful combination with that white gloss black for the entire hourglass design for the grille, but it does have this brushed gold for the surround, which is a really nice accent. Now the Lexus logo is also the integrated forward-facing sensor, so that way it doesn't break up the rest of this grille, where there's plenty of cutouts to provide a lot of cooling to that engine, along with the massive inlets in the lower section as well as in the far corners too. Now this also has the triple beam design for the LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals, but you'll see for the headlights and the high beams, they're in that outer section. Turn signal is just above that DRL. It has a really nice design to it. Now for the hood, this does have a fake hood trim piece right in the middle, but it does give it a cool sporty design. There's nice lines that flow down the hood, meeting the top section of that grille very nicely. And as we work our way to the side, this has a set of 19-inch wheels with that dark trim multi-spoke design to them. They're 9.5 inches wide up front, 10 inches wide in the rear. And this even has a set of Brembo brakes with 6 pistons up front and 4 pistons in the rear. Now the F badge is just behind that front tire, and this even has a cool trim piece that's not functional. I think you could probably make it functional, but it has a nice design to it with the lines that flow down the rest of the side skirt very nicely. Now for these side mirrors, these have a triple color design to them. Body colored gloss black, there's the chrome accent, and then the turn signal as well. This does have a sunroof, and then all the window trim is blacked out to give it a good look against this white. And the rest of the lines flow very nicely, especially through the height of the door handle and then all the way to the taillights. Now for this model, it does get the active rear spoiler, so currently I have that up at the moment. Of course, at speed, that will deploy as well. This has a backup camera, all the parking sensors, even LED taillights with a really nice dark housing to them. The lower diffuser has gloss black and body colored right in the middle, and then there's that quad tip dual exhaust with the offset tips, which is very iconic for Lexus models. Now as we work our way to the cargo space now, you can use the button on the key fob or the one up underneath. This is not a power operated trunk, but it's very lightweight. And you'll see for a 2-door vehicle, there's actually a lot of storage. The back seats do not fold down, but you can open up this cut through here if you have some longer and smaller or skinnier items that you need to place through. There's even some storage up underneath the floor. You could probably remove this entire piece if you needed a little bit more space, but you can put some small items down here if you need to. There's even tie-down hooks, so you can safely secure any items that you may have. There's one grab handle up top that you can use to close up this trunk as well. And then as we move on to the interior, you'll see that this door panel has a beautiful design to it. Paired with the white exterior, we get the Alcantara with the red stitching and the red leather. Really nice trim accent just above that, and a cool trim surrounding all of the window controls as well as the side mirror adjustments. There's a little bit of storage in the lower section as well as one speaker. And then you'll notice that two-tone design for these leather seats. F is also up in the headrest. We have the cutouts, the black and the red leather. They're automatic seats too, so all those adjustments are down on the side. And to work our way into the back seats, you simply just pop that backrest forwards and the entire seat will move forwards, giving me plenty of room at 5'10" to hop into these back seats, where you're not buying this for a full 4-seater. You can see this seat needs to go up a little bit more, but you do have an ample amount of space. There's 2 air vents right in the middle. You even get 2 cup holders as well with the F badge right there. And right in the middle, this is the armrest and then the cut through into the trunk. So you do actually have to open that from the trunk side, and then you can place items through as needed. And as far as visibility goes, it's pretty open for the back of this car. It doesn't feel too tight for its size. We have more leather on the armrest, and I have about an inch above my head as far as headroom goes. So it is a little bit crammed, but it's doable if you need to ride around town. And then the seat will move back to where it was originally. Now, as we work our way to these front seats, it's a low car, so it is easy to enter and exit. Let's fire this up though. With my foot on the brake, that button's on this right side, and we can bring this to life. And looking at the gauge cluster now, on the right side is the miles per hour. The tach is front and center. And then on that left side, you can go through a lot more info. You can see in the upper section, all of those are fixed. So there's a fuel level, engine and oil temperature, along with the outside temperature. To go through the rest of that info, I'm going to use all of these over on this right side. So currently it is on a blank page. I can pull up some current averages for the MPG, look at range as well. You have a timer, even TPMS. There's your gear position. There's also a sway warning. So if you've been driving for a long period of time, it will tell you when it's time to pull over and take a break. You have units as well. If I go into the F setting here, there's lap timers that you can look at, your fastest time. You can look at the torque distribution along with the G-force meter and the position of that rear wing. There's also a compass, music, and then you have the adaptive cruise, any messages that you need to look at. And then there's also a lot of settings here just to configure this the way that you'd like to. So it's nice to have all that front and center. Now also on this right side, there's the lane keeping assist along with the front sensor. Cruise control stock is on the back side. Volume and tuning for the radio are on the left side, along with all the Bluetooth and voice commands. This even has steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, which have the same trim as this lower section here. We have the perforated leather with a little bit of solid in the lower section, as well as the red stitching, which is a fantastic touch. Now on this left side, you can see this is how you can activate that rear spoiler. There's a defroster, automatic for the headlights, along with the blind spot monitor and the parking sensors. Dimmer switches for the gauges. You can also release the trunk, and this does have a foot brake that is down below. You'll notice too, more Alcantara and stitching for the top of the gauge cluster, which is a perfect touch. And right in the middle, we do have a massive infotainment system where you do have to use all of these down below in order to go through it. So there's map and menu along with the trackpad there. So currently it is on the navigation there, or the map. You can also have that split screen over on that right side. So I can pull up the audio and go through some of this information like climate adjustments, and you can view all of that while you still have that left side on. Now, if I push on menu, you can go through your setup, your information. Projection is how you can pair your phone to this system. There's also apps, your phone, audio, and then destination for the map. So not a whole lot of information to go through, but it's pretty simple and straightforward to go through with very minimal buttons down below. You'll notice there's a clock in the middle along with an air vent on both sides. And then all of the physical buttons for the climate adjustment. So the scrolling dials are on both sides for the temperature, fan speeds in the middle. You have where you'd like the air to go, and all of your defrosters. This also has a CD player with power and volume for the radio and tuning, and a few other controls just underneath that. Now these leather seats are also heated and ventilated, and this gets a heated steering wheel, which is nice to see. And being the RCF, this has a few different driving modes. You will see that change in the center gauge cluster. There's Sport S and Sport S Plus, along with normal and then eco mode. And you'll notice too that you can also change the TVD, so it's in standard, there's slalom, and then track, just depending on how you're driving this. This even has launch control. You can turn on and off traction control too. And then to put this into reverse, simply just pull it back once. You will see that backup camera up here. There are two different angles that you can see, along with all the guidelines, which you can turn on and off. Drive is all the way to the back, and then we have the manual setting, so you can shift using the shifter or the paddle shifters themselves. Now there are two cup holders to the right of that, and then we get more of that Alcantara for the center armrest, where this has a good amount of storage along with all of those auxiliaries, so you can charge electronics from there. And then you have plenty of space in the glove box for all this information, even more of that trim that you saw surrounding the lock and unlock and the window controls there. We'll take another look at these beautiful seats. And like I mentioned earlier, this does have a sunroof. So we have the manual adjustment for the sunshade. Of course, the sunroof is automatic. You can tilt it too. And then the dome lights are touch sensitive on both sides there. And just look at visibility from the driver's seat here. It's pretty open, not a whole lot of blind spots, which is nice, of course. But now let's go ahead and get the RCF out on the road. And we are in Sport S Plus truck. We'll give it some gas. mild acceleration from third gear, and it's got some grunt to it. It's definitely a healthy engine. Of course, I'm not ripping on it for today's video, but I could definitely see this being a lot of fun to drive. If you throw on an aftermarket exhaust, I'm sure that this would rip that much more. So for the RCF being right around $80,000, I love it. I love this interior. I do wish, or I can't wait for the next generation with the touchscreen system. I think that's something that's kind of been lacking in some of the newer Lexus models, which they are slowly switching over to having that system and a little bit more tech. But if you want a car that doesn't have all those fancy bells and whistles, I mentioned earlier some of the competitors like the BMW M4, Corvette C8, which is only a two-seater. Those vehicles have a lot more technology than in this Lexus. Not to say that's good or bad, but if you don't want all of that, you can still get a very nice luxury style vehicle with some basics for the interior. Very easy to go through though. But some people just don't want that extra technology. You just want to get in this car and do this. You just want to drive it, have fun, still have some of the creature comforts like the adaptive cruise, which is so easy to use. I love the stock from Lexus/Toyota. It's a very easy system to engage and go through using that stock. So it just makes it that much more daily driver friendly, and yet it still gives you everything that you need to have some fun with this two-door coupe. But I think that is going to wrap it up. It's telling me to take a break, which is interesting. I've only been in it 10 minutes, but that is going to wrap it up for this latest generation for the Lexus RCF. Once again, huge shout out to Hendrick Lexus Northlake for providing the sports car for me today. Check out their website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.